I'm Tara, and today I have a tag video for you guys in which I will show you all of the black bottles in my collection. Now, I was tagged by Barry from Sensualize, and if you don't follow him, please check him out. I'll leave him linked down below. He's a great guy, super supportive. He does actually talk a lot about unisex fragrances, or like fragrances that maybe are marketed to men but could be unisex. So even if you're not super interested in men's fragrances, he still does talk a lot about things that you might be interested in. So definitely check him out. And thank you so much, Barry, for the tag. So let's go ahead and get started with the black bottles in my collection. All right, first up is Frederic Malle's Portrait of a Lady, which was created by Dominique Ropion. And this one is a rose, patchouli, incensey type of fragrance. There is also black currant in here, as you might already know from my big squirt tag video. This one is truly a masterpiece, and I know not everybody's gonna love this because it is a very potent fragrance, and it is heavy on patchouli, which I don't always like, but in this composition I do. But I do think it's a masterpiece. Even if you don't like it, I feel like you could realize that this is an incredibly well-blended fragrance. So that one again is Portrait of a Lady from Frederic Malle. Next up is this delicious fragrance from Jo Malone. It is called Myrrh and Tonka, and this is from the Intense collection. It does last a bit longer than most of her fragrances do, but I really enjoy this one. In addition to the Myrrh and Tonka, there is, I think, some vanilla in here, maybe a touch of lavender even. But this is, oh, I really enjoy this one, especially coming up in the fall and winter time. So that one is Myrrh and Tonka. Next up, I have one from the Indy House Kerosene, and this one's called Unknown Pleasures. And this one reminds me of if you're eating some sort of like a lemon baked good with a cup of like hot black tea next to it. So yeah, I get a lot of lemon, I get some sweetness, maybe caramel, I get tea for sure, and I think there's a bit of honey in here as well, which kind of goes with the tea, right? But anyway, that one is a really unique gourmand in my collection, and I would say, like in general, I don't know that I've smelled too many things that smell similar to this one. So that one is Unknown Pleasures, but I also have a new addition to my collection that you may or may not know about, and this one is called Follow. And so, by the way, these are black. I know the front looks gold, but they're black bottles. And Follow, ooh, this one is so good, you guys. So this one is a coffee fragrance, but it's as if you sweeten the coffee with maple syrup instead of sugar. I do also think there's a bit of vanilla and tonka in here. I'm not positive, but in general, I mostly get the coffee and the maple syrup, and I love this one. I had a sample of it, and after sampling it, I bought a bottle. So I actually prefer this over the Unknown Pleasures, but I really like them both. Next up is one from Kilian, and it is Back to Black. And so, of course, the bottle is black. A lot of their bottles are. Now they're starting to do some other colors as well, but most of their bottles are still black. I also have the travel size of this one because Back to Black is my favorite of the Kilian fragrances. I know not everybody loves this, but I really do. This, I get this, oh, it's so good. It's so good, you guys. I get this like honey and tobacco and, oh, there is a powderiness to it, but man, it's like a sexy powder. There's also a bit of cherry and vanilla, which you know I love both of those things. Like everything that's in here, I love. Every note that's in this fragrance, I love. And so it makes sense that I love this scent. So again, Kilian Back to Black. My God, this does something to me. It's one of my favorite fragrances in my collection, but certainly my favorite Kilian. Another Kilian that I have that comes in a black bottle is this one here. This is the Good Girl Gone Bad Extreme, which I do slightly prefer to the original. The only thing that's different between this and the original is that this has the addition of a milk note, but it still has that osmanthus, and I think there's some jasmine and tuberose. And there's also a bit of like a woodiness to this as well. In general, I don't usually like tuberose, but in here I do like it. So it's not like, you know, the predominant note by any means. I do get more osmanthus than I do the other florals, for sure. The other Kilian that I have that comes in a black bottle is the one called I Don't Need a Prince by My Side to Be a Princess, or just Princess for short. This one is actually being discontinued this month, I believe. So if you've been curious about this collection, the entire collection is getting discontinued. So, you know, maybe pick it up or be on the lookout to see. I don't know that it'll go on sale, you know, be on the lookout. Anyway, this one has a marshmallow note to it that I get predominantly, but there is also some vanilla in here, perhaps perhaps a bit of benzoin, and I think there's like a tea note with a touch of ginger in this one, but mostly I get that like sort of a sweet, like toasty marshmallow kind of thing, not smoky at all, just like a sweet sort of lightly toasted marshmallow. But I really like that one. I think when I smelled this collection, and I'm not sure that they were all out at the time that I sampled them because it was quite a while ago, but when I did, I think this was my favorite one. There are several others though. Like I said, the whole line's being discontinued. I'm thinking about getting another bottle of this, but as you see, I probably don't need it. So anyway, that one's Kilian Princess. Next up is a very new fragrance to my collection that I have minimal experience with, so I can't tell you a lot about it yet, but this one is called Timbuktu, and it's from L'Artisan Parfumeur. And I heard about this mostly from Amina. I've heard about it from other people as well, but her review of this, which I will link below, kind of sold me on it. So I picked it up, and so far I am enjoying it. I get a lot of like vetiver in this, and some incense, maybe a touch of patchouli, and I think there might be myrrh, because there is something that sweetens this up just a little bit. But I'll have to come back to this and tell you more about it later, because I literally like sprayed it on a single spray on me once so far, just to kind of see what it smelled like, but I did enjoy it. So more details to come, but that one is Timbuktu. Next up is one from Maison Francis Kurkdjian, and it is Oud Satin Mood, which is a beast of a fragrance. This one, in addition to the oud, has some rose, some vanilla, I think maybe even some benzoin in here, but I really, really love this. And from the like oud collection from Maison Francis Kurkdjian, this was my favorite when I sampled them. But you know, also I think that the other ones are nice as well. It just depends on your individual preferences. But because this has that vanilla and that rose and benzoin in it, this definitely is my style of oud fragrance, and I really love it. Lasts forever, really good one. All right, I just have a few left. I don't have tons of black bottles in my collection. I was talking to Barry, and I think maybe they tend to make more men's fragrances in black bottles than women's, but I do have a men's fragrance here that is mostly a black bottle. It's really more of like a gunmetal gray shiny type of bottle, but we're gonna call it black for this video. And this one was from my wish list that I just shared with you recently. It is Parfums Marly Herod, and I am so glad that several of you encouraged me to buy this because it is very good. I've worn this once and I love it. It is a sweet tobacco fragrance. I think there's vanilla in here. I think there's a touch of cinnamon even, and I'm pretty sure there's osmanthus in this one as well, which I do think I quite like as a note, because it seems like there are several fragrances that I have and really love that have osmanthus in it. So anyway, super happy with this one. Like I said, I've only tried this on once, and it was just a couple days ago. I did not give it a full wear test, so I don't have details about the longevity for you yet, but I freaking love the way it smells. So that one is Parfums Marly Herod. Last but not least, we've got to get some Tom Ford in this video, so let's start with Tom Ford Noir Pour Femme. As you know, I used to have the Noir Extreme as well, but I ended up getting rid of that since they are so similar. This one is just a delicious fragrance, as is the Extreme. You can't go wrong with either. But this one has a kulfi note in it, which is like an Indian style ice cream, and I believe there's some spices in that. But I also get some vanilla and amber, and maybe a bit of sandalwood, and I think there's a touch of ginger in here as well, but this is a sweet, spicy, woody, gourmand type of fragrance. It's got a little bit of everything, but I really, really love this one. And if you put on too much, you can choke yourself out with this, so go, you know, gently with the trigger and build your way up to what you want, because in the heat anyway, it can be a bit much. But I love this one, pretty decent longevity on it, and it just smells fantastic. Very sexy fragrance. So that one is Tom Ford Noir Pour Femme. And last but certainly never least in my book is Tom Ford Tobacco Vanille. And I love this fragrance so much. In addition to the tobacco and vanilla, there are some dried fruits in here. There's some tonka. There's a little bit of spiciness to it. I love this one. Now, I will tell you, I have another fragrance in my collection that smells pretty similar to this, and I might love it even more, but I still love Tobacco Vanille. One of my favorites from Tom Ford, if not my very favorite. Tobacco Vanille and Lost Cherry have really been battling it out for my heart lately, but this was my first of my Tom Ford loves. Like the first one I really really loved from Tom Ford. So again, Tobacco Vanille, and that's the last of my black bottles. Thanks again to Barry for tagging me in this video. It was pretty fun and I enjoyed looking through my black bottles, even though I have way less than you do. So definitely check out his channel if you haven't already. Also, I'm going to link down below 3 channels that I will be tagging. However, if I don't tag you and you want to do this video, please do this video. Anybody can do it. I think it's super fun. But specifically, I'm going to tag Moody Boo from Moody Boo Reviews. I don't think she does very many tag videos, and I'm not sure that she watches all of my videos, but I think she does occasionally. So hopefully if you're watching this, you see this and you do this tag, because her collection is fire. Like, if you don't watch her, she's hilarious and her collection's amazing. So start watching her. Also, I would really like to see Claire from Smurfy Girly do this one, and I'm going to tag Scott from the Centurion. So tag, you're it. I would love to see the black bottles in your collection. If you can't get around to this video, I totally understand, but I do think it would be fun to see what you have. Also, I would like to test my theory as to whether or not men tend to have more black bottles than women. So Scott, please do this. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If so, give it a thumbs up. Consider subscribing if you haven't already, and I'll see you next time. Bye.